Hello everyone, my name is Aaron Woodman, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will be talking about doing enough research for your speech. This is important for making sure your facts are correct before you reveal them to the public and you are not misleading people. You could see this as doing your homework before presenting your speech to people since you want to be prepared. Let's begin with brainstorming. This is an ideal first step because it lets you jot down all the ideas and facts you already know, along with the many questions you have about what you don't know. The point is to unlock the ideas already inside your mind, perhaps deep in your subconscious, and to identify the areas that are still murky. Once you do so, you will know where to focus your research so that you can forge your first draft thoughts into a formidable argument. Here are some tips on how to pull off a good brainstorm on your own. First, focus on quantity, not quality. In this instance for brainstorming, quantity matters more than quality because all you are trying to do is throw as many ideas onto the page as possible, whether they are good or bad, magnificent or mediocre. By prioritizing quantity over quality, you give yourself more choices, more options, and more possibilities. Once all of your ideas are on the page, you can decide which ones to keep and develop and which ones to get rid of. Don't worry if you think your ideas are considered too crazy. Those ideas might inspire truly clever ones, and in the end, you can just get rid of the bad ideas. Second, break your big ideas into smaller ideas. This is good for making sure you take small steps of achieving one objective at a time, so you can then lead into completing the final objective of your big idea. Third, get in your zone. When you take a break from the daily grind, give your conscious mind a rest and let your subconscious take charge. Switch off from work, stop checking your email, let your mind wander. Ideas will start flowing through your head when you let all the other things in life get out of your mind for a moment, and you can focus on one task of coming up with ideas. To make this happen, it depends on what gets your mind wandering, since every person is different and you will need to find the best environment for you. Perhaps experiment with different places and processes. Close your eyes, go for a walk, take a shower, or anything else. After you finish brainstorming, you need to do your research. This is where you need to do your homework well. Here are some things you can do. 1. Search beyond page 1. It is easy to go on Google or any other search engine and get the information you need on the first page. But too often we don't go far enough in our Googling. We tend to lazily limit our research to page 1 of our Google search results. And if nothing interesting pops up, we move on. You have to learn to go beyond that. You have to be willing to do a deep dive into your subject and into Google itself. There are so many tricks and techniques to Googling that you should familiarize yourself with to make your research process easier. In fact, if you familiarize yourself with a search engine's function, you can get the information you want in no time. For example, use customized dates to get results from, say, 2016 to 2020, which cuts through some of the fluff you get on page 1. Track down the source of quotable quotations by putting them inside quote marks in the Google search bar. Narrow down your inquiry by using the minus sign to exclude certain terms, words, or phrases from the search. In the age of the search engine, we can easily find whatever quote, statistic, or source we need. 2. Start, but don't end with Wikipedia. Any high school or college student will tell you that teachers and professors don't look kindly on those who cite Wikipedia as a source of information. The argument is that citing only a Wikipedia article as a source of information or evidence for your argument is wrong because anonymous editors and contributors can put in any details they want. But even if you shouldn't cite Wikipedia, that doesn't mean you can't use it. Use it as a starting point for your research to get an overview of the topic and then to dig deeper into that topic by following the provided links to more trusted sources. Think of Wikipedia as a gateway to further facts and research. So look at the hyperlinks and sources at the bottom to verify the information you see on Wikipedia and use those citations as your actual research citations. 3. Check your sources. With any claim you make, you will be asked what your source is for that. Too often these days, we are relying on hearsay or anecdotes to make our point. If you want to make your case or strengthen your argument, you need to find original sources for your claims and familiarize yourself with those sources. Know them inside out. Make it a habit to search out original sources and cite them in your arguments or presentations. That means do not just read a book review, but instead buy the book and go through it page by page. Don't just watch a clip of an interview on social media, but instead go watch the whole thing. Don't just trust a news article that selectively quotes an academic study, but instead go find the actual study and read it, or at least the abstract for yourself. This is so you can use your power as a speaker to make sure you are being told the whole context and not something out of context. One more thing to keep in mind as you do your research is to avoid confirmation bias. This is the human tendency to look only for information that confirms what we already believe, while just ignoring any evidence that backs up other or especially opposing viewpoints. To combat confirmation bias, you need to know both sides of the argument, not just a viewpoint you may personally favor. Even at the research stage, you will want to develop an understanding of the other side's arguments as you are making your own argument. The reason to do that is a simple matter of perspective. As philosopher John Stuart Mill pointed out in On Liberty, you cannot know your own side of the argument without also knowing the other side, and the other side in its, quote, most plausible and persuasive form, unquote. So your aim should be to reach a point where you know the opposing side's arguments better than they do, and where you can also spot the flaws in your own arguments before they do. That means doing your homework on the other side's arguments as well as your own. At the same time, though, it can be harder for some of us to learn what the other side's arguments could be. To get it right requires what is called steel manning, which is an exercise in constructing the strongest version of the opposing side's argument. Steel manning is the total opposite of the infamous straw man argument, which involves dumbing down the opposing side's position as a way of undermining them. Instead, if you can steel man the opposing side's arguments in advance, and if you can develop an understanding of the smartest and strongest approach to their position, then you'll be ready for anything they might throw at you. To do the steel manning process, ask yourself the following questions. What is the opposing side's best argument? What is their best evidence for that argument? Who is the best advocate for that argument? What is their best critique of their argument? Such questions serve as a one-person role-play exercise. They force you to flip sides and poke holes in your own argument. You should take the time to give serious thought to these questions rather than rushing through them. You can even ask them in 2 rounds, once at the start of your research process and once at the end. The first round will help direct your research, and the second will help polish it off at the end. And you can also keep them in mind throughout, checking with these questions occasionally to gauge whether you still have more work to do. Steel manning allows you to be comprehensive and cover every possible argument and counter-argument, both yours and theirs. In conclusion, you want to make sure you are prepared to give out your speech that has its facts correct and accurate. Effective speeches are built on thorough and open-minded research. By starting with brainstorming, digging deeper than surface-level sources, verifying original information, and actively challenging your own views through steel manning, you ensure your message is accurate, credible, and persuasive, rather than misleading or incomplete. In the next video, we will talk about closing your speech. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on the post notifications so you will be notified when I post my next video. I appreciate your support. Remember, you are powerful, you are capable, and you are the changemaker our society needs. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you soon.